Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the GioMoShow interviews. I'm Giovanni Moschera, your sports media director here at WXOU, and I am joined here on the couch by a new member of the Golden Grizzlies athletic department. You'll know him, you'll see him at every game for men's soccer, women's basketball, baseball, and every esports match that he can get his hands on. He's a graduate of Bowling Green State University, and he's been a great help to us at WXOU for the sports team. It is Teddy Rydquist, everybody. How you doing?
Giovanni, I appreciate you having me. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great. How's the summer been?
It's been good. I'm missing having Oakland sports already. I love going to all the games and everything, but it is nice to have the summer and looking forward to the fall.
I'm missing the sports as well. So for you, you're a new character here at Oakland Athletics. You said part-time in March of 22, working just with the baseball team. And then in October, you got bumped up a notch. You got full-time and coverage as well with women's basketball, esports, and men's soccer. So we're going to be taking a tour through your career here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how that all got started was I was working at Lake Orion High School at the time, and the AD at Lake Orion High School I was working for, Chris Bell, great guy. He knew John Cizeski, Giz, and Giz had mentioned to him that they were looking for someone to do baseball. So, and March, of course, baseball season, it starts in February. So
Yeah.
I jumped right in, and in March of 2022, and then it was a great experience, and the team did really well that season, as they did this year. And then October 2022, Oakland was looking to hire someone full time, and I think that having that built-in familiarity and, with members of the staff and them having seen my work definitely helped me and, probably gave me an edge over some other candidates they were looking at.
Yeah, well, we're definitely happy to have you here. So going back in time, I always like to start way in the beginning for everybody. So where did you get your love of sports? Was it just something you inherited, or is it something you found along the way?
Yeah, I mean, I would say all the way back to childhood, bring it back to the beginning. I was, just always liked playing sports, being outdoors when I was a kid. My parents were great in encouraging me to do that. And then, so I think, just getting into it when I was young and always having an interest. And then once it got to, the time to go to college and found out, like sport management programs are out there and there's opportunities for you to do this, as a career. And so that's what I did. I went to Bowling Green State University, Bowling Green, Ohio. It's a MAC school, had a great time, and got my degree in sport management and, did a little bit of stuff just helping out on campus with some of the, Bowling Green football, hockey, basketball when I was there. And then, after I kind of took the journalism route to get to where I am today. After I graduated, I was just working, for like a couple local papers around here, like the Lake Orion Review, the Oxford Leader, primarily covering high school sports forum, like Lake Orion Dragons and Oxford Wildcat Sports. And then that led me to getting that job at Lake Orion High School and then ultimately here to Oakland. So, I mean, it just kind of grew. It's been nice that it happened, all around here in Lake Orion to Oakland, an area that I grew up in. And I've, very appreciative, and I've loved every step of the way.
Yeah, you're just about like 20 minutes away from here, not even?
That's right. Yeah, right. 15, 20 minutes right down the road.
So was it weird for you when you got the job at Lake Orion, your alma mater? Was it weird covering a school that you've been, you went to yourself? Was that kind of a weird experience?
Yeah, it was a cool experience. I enjoyed it, and this was I'm a 2014 Lake Orion graduate, so this was about 7 years after when I started working there now. So, in terms of, Chris Bell, like I said, he had been there since I was a student there, so I knew him well. But a lot of the coaches and stuff, there were a lot of new figures around there so I got to meet them and, build up relationships with them while the time I was there. And, one of the cool things was Lake Orion had a cross-country coach, Stan Ford, who was there for 40 years. And, I got to be there for his last season. And so it was cool to see stuff like that. So I really enjoyed it.
Was that something for, I guess, covering sports and sports management, was that always something that you wanted to do? Or I'm just curious, like, how you decided to go in that career path?
Yeah, it's just funny. It's kind of one of those things that it happened because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. It was like when I was in college, it was like a lot of things they're talking about, opportunities to work for the team and like ticket sales, stuff like that. So, but then, once I got involved in, kind of the media journalism part of it, which led to where I am today as, the SID, a sports information director. I'm still, writing articles and interacting with any media we have. So that's definitely been a big help. And it was just one of those things that happened. And, I've really enjoyed at the high school and college level here and how they, feed right into each other, with the recruits going right from high school. And, sometimes when Oakland gets a local prospect, it's really cool.
Yeah. So the difference between covering high school and college, I'm curious from your perspective, like what's the biggest difference in terms of your position, like having to cover them?
Yeah, it's just obviously a much larger scale here in college. That's was one of the things. I was doing a lot of the same things at Lake Orion that I did at Oakland. Writing articles for the website and helping out with social media and stuff. And I'm doing a lot of that same stuff here. It's just on a much larger scale. And I think it's one of the things that's really still changing that we're kind of still seeing how it goes is like the name, image, and likeness.
Oh yeah.
So it's like beforehand it was something you never had to deal with because student athletes they couldn't get any of that stuff, but now they can. So it's cool to be a part of that in the very early first couple of years of it here and see how that shapes college sports moving forward.
Oh yeah, it's something every time we kind of hear about it, whether it's Campy talking about it with Izzo. I can't remember where it was, but
yeah, and Blake Corum was there. Yeah,
Blake Corum. It was the state of college sports, I believe.
That's right, Jay Billis. Yeah, and Campy was there. Yeah.
So whenever they're talking about that, I talked to Steve Waterfield, our athletic director here, and I always comes up. And with it being so new, I'm from your perspective, like having it, like kind of covering it as it took off, can you kind of give me like a rundown on like the landscape of that? Because I hear it, I have an idea of what it is, but in terms of, I guess from your perspective, like how has it changed things?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's led to, almost more of an increased emphasis, like kind of on the social media brand aspect of it, where, they, not that they're not, not that it's not about the team or anything, but kind of promoting your individual brand too. So, you can be marketable to, anyone that's interested in, hiring you or, having you do something for them. So that's been, one of the things that changed, but overall, there's still a lot of the amateurs I'm in there that I really like. That's part of what got me interested in the first place. Yeah. So this is just a little wrinkle, and I'm, just kind of along for the ride, playing as it go. And that would be like really the only thing that I would say that stood out is that, social media is a huge part of it. And it's, continuing to be, and now it's, even more so with NIL. Yeah.
So for you, like, I'm sure you have a hand in a lot of the social media that gets out there. Yeah. And do you feel any responsibility to showcase a player, like knowing that might be, NIL being something they might be reaching for? Like, do you feel a responsibility to highlight them in some ways? Or?
Well, I mean, I don't even really think of it from like the NIL angle, so to speak. And, with our social media here at Oakland, I think we're really lucky to have, Natalie Longray and CJ Round. They're both terrific. They do a lot of great jobs with, I think the big thing is the video. Like, photos are great, but they really love the video. If you can get a play or a catch in baseball, whatever it is. So, yeah, I mean, I do really like when I can promoting those individuals because, I mean, it's, just, something that doesn't happen every game. You only get select opportunities to do it. So, yeah, when I can, I always try to do that.
So, zooming out a little bit, going back to your career here, making the jump from March 22 when you were covering just baseball, and then getting 3 more sports on top of that. So for you, like, how did you handle that workload? Like, were you familiar with like men's soccer, for example? Were you familiar with esports already? I'm just curious, like your shift from one sport to now 4.
Yeah, I mean, and in the athletic communications department here, it's David Gibson and myself, and David's been here since December 2021, and he's great. So if I had any issues, I could always go to him, and he would pretty much always be able to help me. And specifically about men's soccer, I knew enough about it to where I could, felt confident about it. Esports, I was a complete stranger to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of people are.
Yeah, I mean, just even growing up, I've never really played like video games or any of that stuff as a child. So I was a complete stranger to it. And one of the things that was unique about that is the esports head coach here, Carl Leone.
Oh, yeah.
Is also a Lake Orion High School graduate. He was
really
1 year older than me. So I loosely knew him from high school. So that helped big time that I had a kind of a loose, relationship with him. And I certainly know way more about esports now than I did in October, November, December. I mean, I'm still picking up as I go, but it is cool to see. And, kind of like how we were talking about NIL being young, esports really young too.
Oh, yeah.
So it's cool to be in, the early stages of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So for us at WXLU, like at least for me, like I would love to take like a bigger bite into covering esports. I mentioned them on the GioMoShow a few times here and there when I see an event cover, like the Illini Invitational tournament they went to earlier this year. And for you, like I'm curious, like obviously, when you look on GoldenGrizzlies.com, it doesn't have as much information on it as some of the other sports does. It just is what it is.
Exactly.
So coming into next year, like, do you guys have any plans specifically to kind of grow esports in terms of information and promoting? I'm curious, like, what next year might be looking like.
Yeah, one thing that I know that they've brought up to me is that they're really and by they I mean like my bosses here in the athletic department. They really enjoy like those feature type of articles. Like we did one on Austin Koala last year, who he won like a NACAD, which is like National Esports Coaches and Association Award. So they really like those feature type of articles on either one student athlete or one team, because in esports you got the individual game titles like Rocket League and Super Smash Brothers and League of Legends. So that's something that I think would be a good thing for us to focus on as we go into the fall 2023 here, is because some of our teams are more successful than others, and the ones that are good are really good. So I think highlighting those is would be an excellent place to start.
Have you guys had any conversations about more about the broadcasting of esports matches? Because I know they handle that a little bit in-house with their Twitch streams and stuff like that. But do you guys in the athletic department have a hand in like the broadcasting, that kind of stuff for esports?
Personally, I'm not sure about that. I mean, it's something that I'm sure I could look into. And I remember when I did talk to Carl Leone here earlier this spring, and that was something that he mentioned that they were looking to do more of next year. So I know there's an interest there, and it certainly, I would think, is doable. So I'm looking forward to hopefully that being the case.
Yeah, I hope WXOU gets a hand in that as well.
Me too, yeah.
Yo, I'm Jake Masucci from Jake's Takes. I wanted to talk a little bit about my show on my guy Giovanni's own show. And I wanted to talk about a little bit about Jake's Takes. I'm a student manager at Oakland University, and I kind of just talk all things sports. I talk a lot about the NBA, talk a little college basketball. We did a lot of March Madness stuff recently. We talked about NBA playoffs, NFL playoffs, talked a lot about the NFL draft. It's basically just an all things sports show. I really think you guys would enjoy it. And shout out to my guy Giovanni. Love him. But please check out Jake's Takes. It's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and then it's also available on its own YouTube channel. So please check out Jake's Takes, but please continue enjoying Giovanni's show.
So now kind of zooming out, we kind of got to know you a little bit here. And there are a few sports that you are responsible for that I haven't taken quite as much of haven't highlighted as much on the JOMO show, just because men's soccer kind of, in the timing of the season, I was just kind of like getting started again this year with the JOMO show. So
for sure,
who better to ask about men's soccer in this past season than the information director himself? So kind of can you give me like a summary or like a season review of men's soccer, how they do, and where there might be next year?
Yeah. To bring it back to 2021, they won the Horizon League Championship. Mm-hmm. And then going into last year was just a trying year. And I think they just, it's going to, to play the injury card a bit, but it is what it is. I mean, they had, Finn Jurek, who was their redshirt senior goalkeeper, and Mikey Kedeman, who was a all Horizon League caliber forward for him. Both missed, all or close to the entire season. So they had a couple injuries, and then, Michael Sly Jr., a redshirt freshman, they had to thrust him into action and goal quicker than they were probably planning on having Finn Jurek. So it was a bit of a, trying year with a couple of tough injuries for him last year, and they still made it. They won a game in the Horizon League tournament. Mm-hmm. They beat Robert Morris in a shootout, a thrilling game. And then they lost to Cleveland State, who was the eventual conference champion. So it was, but, coming into this year, they have those guys back. And, I think there's a great sense of optimism that they have just about everyone from last year's team back. A couple guys they're losing, but a lot coming back. And, last year having a lot of those freshmen get experience, and now to be sophomores, having that year should really help them. And, I think Oakland soccer is going to be pretty good here in fall 2023.
I'm going to be really looking forward to covering them here on the JOMO show, and hopefully get some live games on the air as well.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Because we did, like, my very first broadcast, it didn't even get broadcasted, but when we just got started in, I believe like mid-October, we went to, it was a home soccer game. I believe it was senior night. That we set up a table. We kind of knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
Couldn't get the connection well, so we just did a whole mock broadcast of it. And the pace of the game, and I've even talked to Neil Rule about like kind of what games he likes to cover. Soccer is a very nice medium level kind of a pace where you get like basketball, that's like an all-out blitz. You're hardly keeping up. And then you get baseball, it's a lot more of a slower pace, a lot more of a conversation. So, covering soccer and doing the live game for that was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to
I
it
can
next
definitely
year.
see that. Yeah, it is cool with soccer that you can hear a lot of what they say too. You
Yeah.
can hear the players and even the officials or referees talking amongst each other. So it is cool to hear all that. And yeah, I agree. It is kind of that medium pace there, a nice balance. Yeah.
So working with head coach Eric Pogue, he's one of the more tenured coaches
Yeah.
here at Oakland. So what's it like working with him? I haven't gotten a chance to get to know him very well. So what am I in for if I meet him?
He has been absolutely fantastic to me. He's been a super nice man. He, anything I've ever needed, any like pertinent information about recruits, he's always on top of getting me, some information and quotes to, help put the article together. So I think he's a super nice man first and foremost. And then, yeah, on the field, the results, speak for themselves. He's had a lot of success and been here a long time. So yeah, don't claim to be a soccer expert. I know mostly just about Horizon League soccer from covering it here, but from everything I've ever said, I'd give Eric Pogue a great recommendation. He's been awesome.
That's awesome to hear. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to meeting him. You're getting me looking forward to a lot of things here next year.
It'll be here before we know it. I mean, late August, our regular season will get going, and right now we're just like 2.5 months away, but it'll be here pretty soon. Yeah.
I cannot wait. So moving to women's basketball, I covered pretty extensively here on the Jomo Show, but to kind of do another season review, I'm going to walk through a lot of the walk through the sports that you cover
Yeah.
here. So women's basketball, what's the story of this past season?
Yep. Last year, I would say they finished 13 and 17, and they lost to Wright State in the Horizon League tournament. But the biggest individual takeaway I would say was Brooke Corals-Daniels for sure. She won the Horizon League Freshman of the Year award.
We had her in the Jomo Show just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so she was fantastic. She was second team all conference as a freshman, the only freshman to make one of the all league teams, and so having her get that experience last year and show that she can easily handle it was really nice to see. And then coming into this year, they've had a busy offseason. They brought in 4 transfers. They had, Maddie Skokorski from Michigan State. It was a walk-on at Michigan State and went to Clarkston High School, and she was a standout there. And then they've had, Markia McCormick, who was at Charleston, a Division II school, but she was at Detroit Mercy before that. Mm-hmm. And then they had Kiani Westbrook, who's 6'3", so she'll be some size, from Tennessee State. And then Madison Royal Davis, who's from Toledo, Ohio, another high school standout. She went to Butler, so... And, 3 of those 4, with the exception of Kiani Westbrook, are guards. So they've been bringing in, I think a lot of people to help him in the backcourt and on the wing, to go along with Brooke Corals-Daniels. And I think they have a great sense of optimism about this season as well.
Yeah, and definitely help patching up the loss of Jack in the backcourt as well.
Great point. Yeah, Breanne Beatty transferred to East Tennessee State, and she was a terrific, 4-year Golden Grizzly, but wanted to play her last year closer to home. She's from, suburban Columbus, Ohio. Mm-hmm. So, I think everyone understood and, wishes her the best. Yeah.
Yeah. And we wish her the best as well here on the Jomo Show from WXOU. Before we get back to the show, let me tell you about Bart's Pizza. Bart Basilico reinvented his father's pizzeria business by putting it on wheels. I'm talking a pizza food truck, baby. Bart and his wife Lauren travel all around Metro Detroit, cooking up homemade pies made fresh to order in their 4-layered pizza oven on wheels. You can find them on their website at eatbartspizza.com and Facebook and Instagram as well at Bart's Pizza. His last name is literally Basil, so he knows what he's doing. Make sure to grab a cannoli as well while you're there. Bart's Pizza, it's too good. And for the esports season, so the thing, like going back to esports, me trying to cover it myself, the landscape and kind of the structure of esports is still very fluid. There's still lots of individual kinds of tournaments and leagues, and
for sure,
and conference play isn't super defined. So to I guess the best of your ability, what do you think was the story of the esports season?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things Carl Leone's even said to me, how since it is so young, so new, that there really isn't a whole lot of structure to it right now. It's kind of a lot of just playing it as you go, so to speak. And yeah, but I mean, I know that they have their varsity premier and varsity plus in a lot of their different game titles, and Premier is like Division I, the equivalent for your traditional stick and ball sport. Sure. So yeah, I mean, they won their first 2 varsity premier championships this past spring in program history. So that's a major accomplishment for them. So yeah, esports seems to be clicking. They seem to be in really good hands, and I think Oakland's shown them a lot of support. And because down here having the Grizz Den, it's a nice little area for them to go, and I think getting in early helped them.
So moving on to the last sport at least listed here under your responsibilities, baseball. It just wrapped up.
Yep.
Some we covered a lot of WXOU as well. So and it had a very dramatic ending. So for those who haven't been keeping up with baseball very well, what's the story of that season?
For sure, you're right. It just wrapped up here. They finished their season overall record. They were 29-31. They went 18-12 in the Horizon League during the regular season, and yeah, it was a super dramatic finish. You're right. They had the Horizon League tournament on the campus of Wright State in Dayton, Ohio there, and Oakland got to the championship Saturday, the final day for the second year in a row, and they lost twice to Wright State in that last day. If they would have won one of them, they would have got to the NCAA tournament for the first time. So they were the closest they've ever been to making the NCAA tournament. So it was obviously, really crushing to lose those games to come so close. But at the same time, once you kind of take a step back, you're like, this program's had a really good last 2 years. We've been closer than we've ever been. So, Jordan Banfield, I think he's done a great job as the head coach, and there's a lot of talent on the team. Particularly they got a couple of guys like Brendan Nyes, only a sophomore. Reggie Buss, he was all freshman and outfielder. So, I think they got the right coach and they got some young talent, and it's been exciting to cover them the last 2 years. That's for sure.
Yeah. So for working with Jordan Banfield, me being around the baseball a little bit this season. He's kind of an intense dude. Yeah. Would you say so? So working with him, what's that like?
Yeah, you're right. He can be. I mean, and then you see him like during the games, he's not afraid to like let the umpires know what he thinks. But at the same time, first and foremost, baseball has either the highest or one of the highest like team GPAs. His teams take care of business in the classroom, and then just the results on the field. These last 2 years are quite literally the best 2 years we've had since we moved to Division I in 1998. So. They're close on breaking through and getting to the NCAA tournament. So yeah, I mean you're right. He can be definitely intense, but I mean he knows what he's talking about for sure. Knows the game, knows what he's doing, and the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, he's been doing a great job so far. And baseball, there's been a couple of transfer portals going out. Drew Collins and Lucas Lewis recently announcing that they're going to be entering the transfer portal. And I know that's very recent news, but what do you think the impact on the team would be? With those couple of losses here, and just how is that going to be looked at next year?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, it's kind of like we were talking about NIL earlier, the transfer portal. It's just the way it is in college sports now, and not even just baseball. But yeah, I mean, so they've lost some guys in the portal, like the guys you talked about, but I'm sure they'll bring some guys in too. And I know Jordan Banfield's always told me they're very high in the guys that they have here. I mean, even some guys they had that were freshmen this year that redshirted, they're high on. So, as long as they keep their real important players, or not important, but they're real successful players, the guys that have been shown that they can be all league, that I think they'll be okay. And even if they lose some guys that, maybe they weren't necessarily planning on losing, I'm confident that, that probably happened at some other school, and then we could maybe bring someone in and fill that spot. So it just is what it is. And you kind of got to let the dust settle a bit and see, it'll die down after a while, and see, who decided to stay, who decided to leave, and then go from there and reassess what your needs are. Yeah. So I think they'll, be able to do that very well.
Yeah. So I remember when I saw the tweet, Harsha Buttar, our sports director, he found it on Twitter that Lucas Lewis announces his entering the portal. And I remember I went back to the game I called on ESPN, the laptop game. Me and
the
Ben
infamous
Schrader,
laptop game.
Yeah, called his first home run of the season. I remember I had the clip, I tweeted that out, and it was cool to see him go throughout the season, because I think at that home run, I remember the stats very vividly, but I think he was like 1 for 17 at the time, and then boom, he hit that home run.
You're exactly right. Yeah, he started the year, it was like 2 for 20, 2 for 21, but each of the 2 hits were home runs.
Yeah,
and then he ended up really picking up as the year went on, and actually ended the season with the highest batting average on the team. Hit 315 this year. So by the time we got to the last few weeks of the regular season and into the Horizon League tournament, he was definitely an everyday player for him in right field, and he was swinging it him and Brandon Nye were probably swinging it as well as anyone on the team the last couple of weeks there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the bummer to have him leave for sure, but wish him the best. And he, always seemed like he was very quiet, very, humble, and always seemed like a nice young man though. And yeah, wish him the best. And we'll see, who can step up and, replace that production for the Golden Grizzly in 2024.
All right, so to wrap things up a little bit here, what are the plans for the summer? So now that baseball's done, it's going to be a few months until men's soccer picks up and the fall sports pick up. So what's the plans for the summer? What do you guys do during vacation, or sort of vacation?
Yeah. I mean, I've just been kind of wrapping up anything I need to wrap up on the website, so to speak, for the 2022-2023 school year. Getting all those bios and everything, make sure all looks good, and update the record books for my respective sports, and then meet with the rest of the athletic department there as we prepare for the fall of 2023. And then just on a personal level for vacation, I'm going out to Coors Field where the Colorado Rockies play. See the Tigers play the Rockies. Going out there with my dad and my brother on June 30th and July 1st. So that's coming up, and it'll be my first time ever out there, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
And we wish you the best, and we thank you very much for coming on to the JoMo Show here. Again, I want to thank you not only for coming on the show and being a fantastic guest, but for helping us out throughout the entire season. Day one when I met you, not even knowing that you were new here with your American flag tie at women's basketball games, you've been nothing but nice and helpful to us, so we really appreciate that.
I appreciate you guys having me on, and likewise, I appreciate everything you guys do for helping support Oakland Golden Grizzlies athletics.
Yeah, and you can tune into the JoMo Show Thursdays at 6 on WXOU, or you can find it at your own convenience on Spotify and YouTube. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next week.